Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're talking focus. Well, more like reclaiming it. We're diving deep into Cal Newport's deep work.
Oh, it's a good one, packed with strategies for, thriving in this crazy world of distractions.
Like it's almost impossible these days, right?
It really is, and that's exactly what Newport gets at. I mean, think about it. When have you felt the most productive, really engaged in your work?
Definitely not when I'm juggling a million things at once.
Mm.
Emails, Slack, like 10 tabs open.
See? You get it. Newport's whole point is that real productivity comes from focused, uninterrupted work.
He calls it deep work, right?
Exactly, deep work. It's about giving your full attention to one task, no distraction.
Okay, sounds amazing. But how on earth do we actually do that?
Right, that's the question, isn't it? And thankfully, Newport's got some answers, but first, we got to understand the problem.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, one of the biggest problems is this idea of multitasking. We think we're being super efficient, juggling it all, but our brains just don't work that way.
Wait, so all those years of perfecting my email while on a call skills? Wasted.
Not wasted. You're probably good at it. But every time we switch tasks, we leave behind this thing called attention residue.
Attention residue. What is that, like brain gunk?
Ha! Kind of. Imagine writing a report, but checking social media every few minutes. Your brain's constantly switching gears.
So even if I think I'm focused on the report, part of me is still on that funny cat video.
Exactly. That leftover attention residue makes it harder to concentrate. It's like running a marathon with weights on your ankles.
No wonder I feel so drained by the end of the day.
You and everyone else. Newport mentions a study. Average workers spend 60% of their time on communication tools and browsing.
60%.
Mhm.
Wow. So we're spending double the time on distractions compared to actual focused work. No wonder we feel so unproductive.
It's scary, isn't it? But there's hope. Newport lays out 4 strategies for deep work: monastic, bimodal, rhythmic, and journalistic.
Okay, those sound intriguing. Different ways to structure our time, I'm guessing.
You got it. Imagine the monastic approach, like a writer going off to a secluded cabin to finish a book.
That sounds amazing, but not very realistic for most of us. Can't exactly disappear into the wilderness.
Of course not. That's where bimodal comes in. Set aside big chunks of time for deep work, and the rest is for everything else.
Like batching it all together.
Exactly. Then there's rhythmic. This is about regular blocks of deep work, say 90 minutes each morning.
I can see that working. Like a standing appointment with your most important work.
Precisely. Consistency is key. And finally, there's journalistic. It's about seizing those random free moments for bursts of focus.
So if I suddenly have 20 minutes between meetings, bam, tackle a task.
Exactly. Works great for those with, fragmented schedules.
This is all making sense. But it's clear that deep work takes effort. It doesn't just happen magically. I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical.
I hear you. It's not easy. But Newport gives some great tips for setting the stage for deep work. He talks about the importance of rituals.
Rituals, like lighting incense before I open my laptop.
Not quite. More like having a defined workspace, even if it's just a corner of your kitchen table. And setting boundaries.
Okay, so like turning off notifications, phone on silent, maybe even a do not disturb sign.
You got it. Signaling to your brain and everyone else that it's focus time.
Like creating a little bubble of concentration.
Exactly. Even J.K. Rowling needed this. She checked into a fancy hotel to finish the last Harry Potter book just to escape distractions.
Wow, if it's good enough for J.K. Rowling. But what about when our brains just won't cooperate? We're ready to focus, but our minds are racing.
Ah, the wandering mind. That's where productive meditation comes in.
Productive meditation.
Yeah, okay.
I'm intrigued. That doesn't sound like the typical meditation.
It's not about sitting on a cushion, no. It's about using those times when your mind is idle, walking, showering, to actively think about a problem you're working on.
Instead of just letting my mind wander aimlessly.
Yes. Newport suggests asking yourself targeted questions. What are the issues? The solutions? What actions need to happen?
Like a mental workout. I like that. But even with rituals and all, technology's still a huge distraction. Any tips on taming that beast?
Oh, absolutely. Newport's big on being intentional with technology, especially social media.
Okay, I need that advice.
Yeah.
I spend way too much time scrolling mindlessly.
Before you open any app, ask yourself, what's the purpose of this tool? Are you connecting with friends, staying informed, or just killing time?
Good question. I suspect a lot of my social media use is just killing time.
And that doesn't really help with deep work, does it?
Probably not. He even suggests a 30-day social media fast. Could you go a whole month without it?
It's a challenge for sure, but it might make you realize how much time and energy you're spending on mindless scrolling.
Yeah, a digital detox might be just what I need. Okay, so much of what we've talked about is focused on work. But what about downtime? How do we recharge and avoid burnout?
It's funny how we think we're relaxing when we're really just kind of zoning out.
Right. It's almost like we're afraid of actual downtime these days. Like we always have to be on.
It's true. And Newport has this really interesting idea, kind of counterintuitive. He suggests scheduling leisure time.
Wait, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose?
I know, right? It seems weird. But think about it. Remember those stats, how much time we waste on distractions? Well, that happens in our free time, too.
Oh, for sure. If I don't have a plan, I just end up on the couch, scrolling through my phone, the whole evening gone.
Exactly. Newport's point isn't to, like, micromanage your fun. It's about being intentional, choosing how you spend your time instead of just letting it slip away.
So more like creating a loose framework
Uh,
or a menu of options.
yeah, think about it. What truly energizes you? What leaves you feeling refreshed?
For me, it's getting outside, hiking, maybe, or cooking a new recipe. Just having good conversation with friends, not looking at screens.
See, those are things worth scheduling, even if it feels strange at first. It's about being proactive about your downtime.
Makes sense. It's like instead of just reacting to whatever pops up, I'm actually creating space for the things I want to do.
Exactly. And it helps us break free from this tyranny of the urgent, as Newport calls it.
Tyranny of the urgent. I like that. What does he mean by that?
Think about it. How many times do you get to Sunday night and wonder, where did the weekend go? We're so busy reacting to things that our free time gets squeezed out.
Oh, all the time. And then I feel frustrated because I didn't do anything I actually wanted to.
That's where planning comes in. By scheduling those activities, even loosely, you're making a commitment to yourself. It's like saying, this is important to me, I'm making time for it.
Like sending a signal to my brain and my calendar that this matters.
Exactly. It helps you reclaim your time. Design a life that actually reflects your values.
This all connects back to deep work, doesn't it? It's not just about focusing during work hours. It's about bringing that same intentionality to our whole lives.
Absolutely. It's about being present. Whether you're working on a project, having dinner, spending time with loved ones, it's about showing up.
It feels like we've been doing some serious rewiring of our brains, getting them ready for deep work.
We have. And now it's time to get really tactical.
Yeah, give us the tools, the deep work toolbox.
I love that. Okay, first tool, one of the simplest but most effective. Newport calls them shutdown rituals.
Shutdown rituals sounds kind of intense.
It's not really. It's just about creating a boundary between work and, life. Instead of just slamming your laptop shut, you have a little routine that signals to your brain, work's over.
I need that. I'm terrible at switching off. Even when I'm not at work, I'm still thinking about it.
That's so common. A shutdown ritual could be as simple as closing your laptop, tidying your desk, making a to-do list for tomorrow. Just something that creates a sense of closure.
Like a signal to my brain, okay, we did good, time to rest.
Exactly. And remember what we said about separating your workspace.
No working from the couch?
Ideally, no. It's all about those boundaries. But then there's, of course, the digital stuff. It follows us everywhere. How do we manage that?
Yeah, it's a constant battle.
It is. But mindfulness is key. Newport talks about being intentional with every interaction we have with technology. Before you click on anything, ask, what's the purpose of this?
Okay, so before I open Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I ask, why am I doing this?
Yep. And if the answer is, I'm bored, or just to kill time, maybe choose a different activity, one that actually, nourishes you.
It's like shining a light on all those mindless habits.
Yeah.
Scary, but necessary.
It is. And think about your social media feeds. Are you following people and things that actually add value to your life?
Probably not all of them.
It's okay. Be intentional about who you follow. Create a digital space that supports your well-being.
So it's not just about focusing during work. It's about focusing on what matters in all parts of life.
You got it. And remember, deep work isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing practice.
Like building a muscle. The more we focus, the better we get at it.
Exactly. So be patient with yourself. Start small. Experiment. And celebrate those small wins.
And remember, it's all worth it. Deep work leads to better productivity, more satisfaction, and ultimately, a more fulfilling life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Go forth and dive deep.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time for another exploration into the ideas that matter.